So in light of recent reports of a spike in sexual abuse cases, are victims and those close to them breaking the silence? Andre Allen Casey, counseling psychologist with Family Life Ministries, and DSP Samantha Daly, administrative and legal officer with the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, CISOCA. They're both here and they're going to help us look at the developments. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Smile Jamaica. It's morning time. So DSP, I'm going to start with you because we said a spike. Is it a spike in the number of occurrences, or is it because we're hearing so much more reporting that it may seem like a spike?
All right, so good morning. Good morning, Jamaica. Really and truly, sexual offenses and child abuse has been a problem for us. Mm-hmm. It's a trend, not a spike. It's just that the media has gotten a little bit more vocal about it, and parents are realizing that sometimes the only way to get away from the threats and to break the silence is to make some alarm that this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
So
2022 Economic and Social Survey of Jamaica by the PIOJ report 15,068 reports of child abuse. Of this, 3,409 reported incidents of sexual abuse.
Those statistics from the Child Care and Protection Family Services Agency.
CPFSA. Yeah. But this is an increase of 46% compared to 2021. That's almost 50% over a prior year.
Well, CPFSA's interaction in terms of reporting is a little different from the police and CISOCA. So our trends are steady. So like in Kingston, since 2021, our trends, let's take one of the problem ones, sexual offenses against a person, sexual intercourse with a person under the age of 16 years. That has trended like, for 2021, it was like 278, 2022, it was like 272, 2022, 228. So it's like less or minus 5, increase, decrease. So it's a trend. But like I said, it's just we're a case where it's a little more talked about now.
Andre, I'm a number of things, I guess, will force victims into silence. What are some of those things?
The first thing that kind of comes to my mind is the informer mindset.
Yeah.
Because if somebody feels like they are told upon, or told about it, or the perpetrator gets caught, then of course you're an informer. So that's one of the first things. I can have a mindset that says we need to reward the informers. so that informer doesn't feel so bad. But anyways, another thing too is the embarrassment. You know, you find that if folks learned that this person did this and what have you, or this happened to this person, they can feel a little bit embarrassed and they're not going to necessarily come forward and let everybody knows. Okay, so it can be very, very embarrassing. Also taking in consideration that your self-esteem is also attacked as a result of that. Okay, your self-image is attacked. And so as a result of those things, along with the embarrassment, along with the informal mindset, there's also fear that, boy, what are folks are going to say about me, the name calling, how is it that I'm going to now be identified into the community amongst my family members, all those things. And so one has a terrible, terrible uphill battle, even in sharing that information. And so we have to take all those things under consideration for the victims.
A lot of that is mindset, and a lot of the mindset comes from culture, right? Right, Harris? 'Cause you know you're big on this and behavioral change and so on. For us, are we still struggling, Sir Andre, under this culture, not with kids now, but with consenting adults, where abuse is a part of the relationship? And if he doesn't beat me, you know, he doesn't love me. I've heard that a lot in my years in this industry. Are we still struggling with that notion as well?
Yes. You know,
As part of why people stay and are silent?
yes, definitely, definitely. Folks are not taught how to love themselves either, you know. And there are two words that kind of come to my head: self-efficacy and emotional intelligence. And these two things, self-efficacy speaks to the idea that do you believe in your ability to manage your life? And so once we start to let folks understand that, you know, you can manage your life, you know, you can take care of yourself, you know. A person's opinion of you doesn't identify who you are, what you become, you know. Once you start to empower folks like that, then really and truly, what you get from the person is good, but what I believe in me is better.
Nice. Yeah.
What I believe in me is better.
Powerful, eh?
And so sometimes because folks are not empowered that way, then they are susceptible to abuse and consistently become susceptible rather to abuse. So they have to start to believe in themselves and understand their own emotions and how to process those emotions.
Yeah. Yes, because part of it also, the process, and I know it's improved, but when you talk to persons who have suffered sexual abuse, the time it takes for the whole process to go through. If I make a report, then I forgot about going to make another report. I don't want to go to court. 2-3 years later, I want to put the trauma behind me. You want me to do it. Is that also a part of why the silence is hanging on us as much as it is?
Possibly, but I believe that's less of a contributing factor than the actual fear factor.
Okay.
But in terms of reporting and the time that it takes, because sexual offenses cannot be managed by any one agency, it is a multi-agency approach. So you find that to move from agency to give the support to recover, for that survivor to recover from the trauma that has happened, and for the support for the family, and for you to get to a point where you get back on your feet, living after the occurrence of the assault, it takes time. The agencies, the things that they do, the work that they do for it to be effective, it will take some time. For the police to collect a detailed statement, so detailed enough so that whenever anybody picks the statement up in the court, in the justice system and read that statement, they relive what you went through without you even have to say a word. So it's important that time is taken to get it right and get it right the first time.
Time and seriousness, because I think underscoring Harris's point is that once upon a time there was a feeling that the police didn't understand, treat with sensitively, prioritize matters of this nature. I do think, though, that the tide has changed or is changing with that. So you folks are doing some work in that area that will encourage people to come forward.
Yeah, there has been quite a bit of work on the part of the police. We have specialized section known as Sissoko now in every parish. So there are 14 Sissoko, 2 in St. Catherine, and 1 in every other parish. Now, these persons that work at Sissoko are specially trained officers who get witness care, customer service, different aspects of things, interviewing techniques. So they are a caliber persons who now have this specialized training to help you through the ordeal that has happened. And, you know, every time you look at a person who is abused, you are sexually assaulted, you think, oh my God, what now? But the support system is there, and I want to tell Jamaica and the world that the support system is there, and we can only help you if you report.
Yeah.
Boy, I was watching a young lady, very popular young lady on TikTok. It was circulating on social media. Relate just her growing up. And just the way in which the men in her community felt they had the right, once she got to a particular age, they had the right to her body and became abusive and violent because they felt so. Andre, I think part of the silence is we've been silent for so long. Yeah. How do we get persons who have been living with this trauma to also speak up so they can empower others?
I do believe that first, we have to reward them, stop embarrass them. Yeah. That's what kind of comes to my mind. We have to let them know that when they come forward and talk, that was something noble, that was something good. Yeah. It's not something to be embarrassed about, and don't pity them. We have to reward them. And let everybody see that, pardon me, that we are rewarding them and big them up. That's one of the things. We also have to take parents, you know, let them learn to be a little bit more responsible, and not just allow the children to go any and anywhere and things like that, but be a little bit more responsible, and take them to task if they fail to. You know? Another thing that we can, I believe, is to, again, say this again, get myself in problem, I suspect, but to punish the perpetrators.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold them accountable so they will know it's not okay.
They must see that there's nothing there. Everybody must come out and recognize and say, the perpetrator must be afraid to hide. Must recognize that there is no refuge for him or her.
Yes.
And we need to stop hiding them in communities because a lot of us know
no
who
refuge
they
at
are.
all.
Yeah?
Absolutely no refuge.
Yeah.
That's how those who are victims are going to feel a little bit more empowered, you know.
Yeah.
Because they say that something has been done about it rather than, you know,
Shaming.
barbershop talk.
Yeah.
And so for the folks who are watching, who are going through it, who want to speak up about what they're going through, you would encourage them to do so because
it's the right thing to do. Not only that, because they might be saving somebody else.
Yeah.
by themselves.
Or definitely save themselves. Because if we don't talk about it, then that perpetrator will feel like he can do it again because he can get away with it. So I want to invite them to don't listen to their fears, but be brave, come forward, protect themselves, and the community and the society and those that are in leadership must applaud them for coming out.
You know, she talk a lot about he, eh? There are female perpetrators too.
Right.
We need to say that. There are some women out there doing some very terrible things to
Correct.
children and other men.
Correct.
Right? Right, DSP?
Yes, there are.
Yeah, so we have to be aware. We have to go. Where do they find Sissoko?
Well, Sissoko is in every parish. In Kingston, we are currently at 3 Ruthven Road and on the major police stations of every parish.
Okay.
So you should find us in the parish capitals.
Easily findable.
Easily. If you need help, go to the nearest police station and they will assist you to get to Sissoko.
Okay, great. God bless you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Very useful information. It's a very serious topic, and this culture of informer thing really has to change if we're going to move the needle on this one and save some people from some serious trauma and even death, right? Counseling psychologist with Family Life Ministries, Andre Allen Casey, an administrative and legal officer with the Center for the Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, Sissoko, DSP Samantha Daly.
All right, after the break, the Sunshine Girls, net bronze, soon come.